So it's being reported that President Trump has ordered a review to identify, punish, and deport anti-Semites, including students on visas, people that support, terrorism against Jewish people, whether that be in the form of Hamas or calling for intifada or wiping out, basically, the one and only Jewish state. That, all in my mind and in objective mind, according to the IHRA definition, should constitute anti-Semitism, racism on a severe level. I want to read to you a report of the New York Post where they're reporting on this. So President Trump is expected to sign an executive order on Wednesday instructing all federal agencies to identify civil and criminal authorities available to combat anti-Semitism, including finding ways to deport anti-Jewish activists who violated laws, the Post has learned. The order requires agency and department leaders to provide the White House with recommendations within 60 days and outlines plans for the Justice Department to investigate pro-Hamas graffiti and intimidation, including on college campuses, according to a document describing the order. And by the way, let's not forget the kind of horrendous anti-Semitic graffiti that was seen on college campuses, including signs that would say, "Burn Zionism to the ground," Israelis, not the Israeli government, Israelis are native to hell, and "We are Hamas now." Utterly disgraceful. The executive order calls for the deportation of resident aliens, including students with visas, who broke laws as part of anti-Israel protests following the October 7, 2023 terrorist attacks in Israel, which sparked the invasion of Gaza, the document reviewed by the Post says. 6 House Republican-led committees issued a report last month calling for the federal government to do more to address anti-Semitism, including the conditioning federal aid to colleges to force stricter policies against anti-Jewish bias. That report focused heavily on Columbia University, the site of a large encampment that featured many documented instances of anti-Jewish remarks against pro-Israel activists and Jewish students, and noted that the allegedly permissive college took in $2.7 billion in federal funds in the fiscal year 2023. The Biden State Department and Department of Homeland Security stonewalled requests about the number of visa holders among those protesters, the House GOP report said. Trump as a candidate called for deporting pro-Hamas students who are in the US on visas, and last week signed a different executive order that seemed to hint at steps towards that goal. That order contained a passage that called for the US to ensure that admitted aliens and aliens otherwise already present in the United States do not support designated foreign terrorists, though the intended effect of the wording was not immediately clear. College presidents summoned to Congress in December 2023 infamously refused to say if calling for the genocide of Jews constituted punishable conduct under a grilling by Representative Elise Stefanik, Trump's nominee to serve as UN ambassador. They argued that free speech protections were at play. Hate speech generally is legal in the US, but the House GOP report released last month argues that federal law bars recipients of taxpayer funds from tolerating discrimination, allowing a way to force recipients to stiffen policies. Federal courts also have found that non-citizens have fewer free speech rights. The Supreme Court ruled in the landmark 1972 case that the government could refuse a visa to a Belgian Marxist after prior court cases affirmed the deportation of anarchist and communist non-citizens. Some of the best-known instances of activism in support of Hamas, which massacred about 1,200 Jewish residents of southern Israel, occurred in Washington, D.C., when multiple protesters carried banners supporting the group, as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressed Congress in July. Zaid Mohammed Madawi, the 26-year-old president of the Richmond VA chapter of American Muslims for Palestine, was arrested for allegedly climbing atop a monument near the Capitol and spray painting "Hamas is coming." Trump's attempt to crack down on anti-Semitism, including likely by withholding federal funds, come on the heels of his orders to temporarily freeze federal aid and the distribution of pending federal grants, the latter of which was paused Tuesday by a federal judge. In his first term, Trump also used the threat of yanking federal funds in response to nationwide anti-police rioting following the May 2020 murder of George Floyd. Trump ordered steps to defund New York City, Portland, and Seattle for allegedly doing too little to quell the unrest. He left office before the threat was fulfilled, though the Justice Department certified that cities certified the cities for the chopping block. That's the end of the New York Post report. And to me, it seems pretty clear that money talks, and that if there really is a great deal of funding going towards these universities, then there needs to be some serious conditions on which that funding is supplied. And that's where Trump can have utilize a lot of his power. It's the same way that I think I was reporting yesterday on Trump saying that he wants Jordan and Egypt to take in Gazans, which seems to me like an obvious resolution to the Israel-Gaza issue. And they're pushing back on it for reasons that should not be surprising to us. They want to see the Israeli-Arab conflict perpetuate because it's beneficial to them in order to undermine Israel, to defer attention away from their own internal issues. But I've discovered that there's a great deal of financial aid that is provided to Jordan and Egypt every year by America. We're talking into the billions of dollars every year, which was agreed to be provided to them as part of the peace treaties between them and Israel. So money clearly talks, and Trump, I'm sure, will utilize that to the best of his ability. He has shown in the last few days and weeks that he is prepared to not just threaten, but carry them out. And this clearly seems to me a way in which he can make genuine, serious, consequential progress on all these issues that we've been lamenting over the past few years.
Hi, thank you so much for watching. To watch another one, click here. To stay up to date with all our content, click here to subscribe. And if you're able to, you can help support JTV to grow and grow by clicking join below this video, where you can become a member and get perks including early access to videos and private live discussions with me. But most of all, you'll be partnering with us on our mission to change the world.